First Down Sports, everybody. I'm your host, Ray Dunn. Sitting to my left, as always, the one and only Andy Jardine.
Yo, how's it going, Ray?
Very good, very good. Now, this is, we have a special guest in-house tonight, sitting down at the end of the table. Came in on a shotgun call. Roger Nason.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No
I'm
problem,
looking forward
Roger.
to it.
Glad you could make it. No
problem.
Welcome aboard, man.
We were going to introduce our listeners tonight to a guy named, from a show called The Intermission, or a podcast or website, The Intermission.
Yep.
But he'll come on to tell you about that on another show at some point.
Sure thing.
Okay? So, boys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. One of the biggest things that we have to do first, though, Andy, we're going to talk about our sponsor. And you guys know the drill. If you're going to go out for a beer any night of the week, go get yourself a Moose Light.
Stuff's scary good, guys, especially on a Tuesday.
Especially on a Tuesday. It's recording night. Now, I got to tee this up here, too, and we'll talk about this at the end. As you guys know, I work with a young firecracker. I don't know how else to explain him. Jamie Drysdale.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid, he Roger, I don't know if you know this fact about Jamie, but he is the LeBron James of everything.
He does not lack confidence.
No, he doesn't.
I haven't met him. Just talked to him on the phone a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, we have a little pool going on between the four. Well, really between the two of you guys and Jamie, but I give my picks every week as well.
Yep.
And we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the show.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into our first segment, it's also brought to you by Doyle Corporate Image, our buddies right down the street from here. If you need a hat, a shirt, some underwear, some socks, a pen, you name it, you need a logo on it, you go see the Doyles. And why, Ray?
Because the Doyles rule.
The Doyles rule.
And, Roger, I mean, you know the Doyles rule.
They're both, very, very good golfers.
Yeah.
I think Brett, once again, has won the first flight of men's division at Mountain Woods. Fourth time in 5 years. I want to point out the only year that he hasn't won it, a member of the team that beat them, you're looking at him.
Nice. I like to hear that.
That's the only thing I can say about that.
I like that.
That's the only thing I can hold over Brett.
I like that.
I'll have to make note next time that when we have a new guest that they understand that Mountain Woods Golf Talk is outlawed.
Yeah, Andy does
absolutely outlawed on this program.
Roger, I got one more question though before we move. When you won that, is that also the year you were co-captain champion? Co-champion?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
It was the year of my life. Golf year of my life. So.
Out of all Brett's years of winning, has he ever been the club champion as well as men's night champion?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. There you go.
His brother has the club champion this year.
Yeah.
So between them, they won everything.
Wow.
So not a bad year for the Doyles.
All right.
Well, the Doyles rule.
Doyles rule.
And sorry, we totally took that ad in another direction.
There you go.
Another direction.
All right. Let's get into some football.
Let's go.
Because, guys, we've got 3 subjects. So here's how it's going to work, everybody. Every Tuesday night, we're going to pick 3 subjects from the NFL week. We're going to talk about those subjects. And our conversations are going to go anywhere between now and 30 minutes from now. Maybe 35 minutes. Who knows, depending on where it goes.
Let's go.
Let's get into it. Topic number 1. The 49ers. Jimmy G is out for the season. He made a little scrambling play, rolled out to the sideline, and at the last second, just before I thought he was going out of bounds, makes a little move to pick up a couple extra yards, and his ACL is gone. It's confirmed. Gone. Where do the 49ers go from here? Raj?
I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to change quarterbacks midstream in the middle of a season, and he got off to such a great start last year. And we were talking before the show, Ray, like, why did he try to pick up 1 extra yard? Like, I don't understand. I watched it again today, and I mean, just go out of bounds. There's 5 minutes left. It's not like time was a factor.
Right.
So big loss for the Niners, who had a shot at the playoffs, I think, but now probably not.
I wonder if Sherman is happy that he signed with 49ers still.
Let's be honest. I mean, it was a non-contact injury for the most part. Yeah, he tried to, it's the way he planted his leg, right? And you never know these things, but I kind of feel like if a guy's ACL gives out in a non-contact injury like that, it was going to go.
I guess, yeah. That's
probably
true.
Whether or not it was on that play or it was the next practice or whatever, whether it was going to happen on the next time he put a big deal of stress on his knee like that, who knows? But the non-contact ones are the ones that hurt the most, really. I mean,
absolutely.
This was huge. I mean, like you said, he was undefeated when he started the games for the 49ers last year. Came out of the gate this year. Wasn't quite as impressive, but you can tell he's the guy. You could tell he's a franchise quarterback. And then this happens. I mean, they've got C.J. Beathard, who is Kyle Shanahan's guy. Drafted him last year. He knows the offense better than anybody. Clearly, they're turning to him now, Ray, but they might need to find some security behind him.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Because I did read today that Tom Savage is being brought in for a workout. Out of all the teams in the NFL, the one team that I think about where he could maybe fit is because he came from this team is Colin Kaepernick. What are your thoughts on the 49ers reaching out to Kaepernick at this point?
That's the first thing that probably came to most people's mind because of the team. But the team that he left, was it 4 or 5 years ago now? It's not the same team anymore. It's new coaches, new schemes, new everything. So it's so hard to just roll back in and pick up where you left off. So he would have the fan support, I would think,
lots
for
of
sure.
Jerseys there.
Lots of jerseys.
Fans would be happy.
Yeah, but I don't know if that would be a good fit or not.
Colin Kaepernick is not a good fit for any team. So what's I mean, he's not even a football player anymore. Obviously, I respect everything that he's doing, and sure, I'm sure he's keeping in shape or whatever. But I mean, he's not flexing those mental muscles at all, reading defenses and out there making throws, and he hasn't been in years. And when he played last, he wasn't that good. At the end of the day, Colin Kaepernick is a starting quarterback only. You need to cater your offense to this guy. He's not a good backup quarterback because no team wants all the attention on their backup quarterback. Your backup quarterback is going to be the most popular guy in town by default if you're not winning games. And to add Colin Kaepernick and all the attention that he brings in a backup role where he's not really ready to jump in and just run anybody's offense. He needs an offense tailored to him. He's the worst backup idea possible. So not only do I not think Colin Kaepernick would work as the backup in the 49ers, Ray, I don't think he works as a backup anywhere. So for him to get on a team, 49ers included, I mean, they have to be completely in quarterback wasteland and willing to build an offensive package for Colin Kaepernick to succeed, bring him in, and make him the starter.
Any thoughts on that, Roger?
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it like that, but I mean, that does make a lot of sense. And, plus he brings all that unwanted negative attention to your team. So you have to consider that as well. I mean, his name came up with the Seahawks how many times over the last couple of years, and
he even went in
for
and even went in for a workout, and that's the one team where perhaps he could step in and run their offense because it's similar to what he did when he was successful, and even that didn't work out. So
yeah. All right. Well, there's the 49ers. We'll see what happens with them as the year goes on, but the 49ers have probably definitely dropped in the power rankings, that's for sure.
I'd say they took a little fall.
Now, Roger, this is a very interesting role you're going to take in this next conversation.
Okay.
Because we've been talking these rookie quarterbacks since March.
Yeah.
Maybe February.
Yeah.
I'm a Browns fan. I've been talking about rookie quarterbacks since 2007.
So we've been talking about these kids. Now, we've had... I've kind of been on the fence on this subject. Andy has been very firm that these kids should not play. They should sit behind a veteran quarterback and make their way into the lineup at some point during the season.
Yeah.
If they could.
I agree,
right?
if they can, yeah.
Well, heading into week 4, 4 of the 5 rookies are now starting as they've Arizona is the latest team. They just announced Josh Rosen will be making his first start for the Arizona Cardinals. We already know Darnoldson is playing, and Baker, after his performance on Thursday night, he will be playing.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen again.
Yeah, let's make a correction. It's 4 out of 4 of the rookie first round quarterbacks. That 5th guy is not a quarterback, so he doesn't count.
Ooh, that's Scotty Chisholm is not going to like that.
Sorry, Scotty.
He was drafted in the QB position.
Sure.
Baltimore traded up into the first round, so 4 of the 5 starting quarterbacks are starting this weekend.
Number 32? Was he
32?
32.
Okay, he was first round.
I'll allow this to go in as a technicality, but he's irrelevant in this conversation.
And what's ironic out of all the, I mean, you know, there was a lot of talks about him starting early, but Flacco's playing pretty good football right now.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Flacco's playing.
And when he got in there, he wasn't.
Exactly.
So anyway, let's talk about the
the 4 that are starting, okay?
Yeah.
First of all, what kind of success do you think Rosen's going to find in week 4 with the team he's got? I mean, he's got David Johnson. Let me ask you guys this, David Johnson. For fantasy owners that took this guy first overall right now, how happy are they as fantasy owners?
Not happy.
Well, I'm one of those, and read my face. Anyway.
I had number 1 overall pick in one of mine. I took Todd Gurley, so I'm smiling.
Right.
The guy that took Johnson too is not smiling. I'm not going to say his name on air, but he knows who he is.
Go ahead, say it.
Friend of the show, Jeff Wood.
Oh yeah, Woody.
Yeah,
Woody.
Not happy.
So, I think Rosen. I mean, you know, I think he's in for a tough start this week. But the first start of any rookie's career is not easy, and we've seen that. But let's first of all start with Mayfield. Thursday night football.
So we're going to circle back to Rosen?
Yeah, we'll circle back.
Okay.
So Mayfield. Thursday night, they're down 21-3 when, or no, it was 14-3.
14-0.
Okay, 14-0 when Baker comes in. That's right. They scored a field goal at the end of the first half.
Which Baker put together. Yep. Right.
From a Browns perspective, Andy, tell us your thoughts on Baker Mayfield.
So I'm trying to temper my optimism. He looked so good, so comfortable, so fast on his reads, so much zip on the ball, so confident, and he elevated everyone around him. The special teams players stopped making mistakes. I mean, it was that crazy. I'm super excited, Ray, but I'm trying to temper my optimism. But there were paranormal forces at play here. I mean, the moment he entered the game, the buzz, I mean, I could feel the buzz in Cleveland while I was sitting in Toronto.
Oh, absolutely. I could feel it from my couch.
That first completed pass, I can tell you that there was not a doubt in my mind that Baker Mayfield was going to win that game. Down 14, Baker Mayfield was going to lead them to a win after he completed the first pass. It was just one of those weird... there were other forces at play here. It was bigger than the Jets. It was so much bigger than the Jets, what was going on, that they no longer mattered. I think Darnold, and we'll get to Darnold, is a good quarterback. It had nothing to do, there was nothing he could do. So I'm very excited about it. I'm trying to temper my optimism, but he looked so in command, so good, that it feels too good to be true.
All right, so Roger, here's my question for you. Because when I watched this game, as a non-Browns fan,
me too.
I just had a feeling right from the get-go we were going to see Baker Mayfield tonight. What were your thoughts on that?
I wasn't sure about that, but when he came in the game, it was, as Andy said, it was electric. And as a lot of the analysts have said, just to go beyond his football talent, he has that sort of it factor, right? Like he generates excitement. The defense got better. The special teams got better. Got a couple of turnovers. And I'll be honest, when the draft went down, I thought Cleveland blew it big time. I thought they'd take Barkley, wait and get a quarterback at 4. And I thought, Baker Mayfield, I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm not sold on this guy. And the other night really changed my opinion of it.
Yeah. Carlos Hyde looks good too for the Browns.
Yeah,
right?
His son was born before the game. He had a great game. The Browns had a top 5 defense going into the week. They were turning the ball over like crazy, and they just started playing even better when Baker got in the game. Like I said, we should be 3-0. We're losing games due to kickers, special teams, dumb mistakes,
and Tyrod Taylor.
And Tyrod Taylor not being able to overcome when it matters. But I mean, our 2 first games, one that ended in a tie, obviously went to overtime, and then our loss to the Saints went in overtime. These should be wins. All of a sudden, all those little stupid mistakes from those special teams players, or you name it, everything went away when Baker Mayfield was in the game.
I want to give you a little feedback and look at. I mean, this is NFL, but I'm on the field a lot with university type players, so I see camaraderie. I see stuff on the field as an official, and one of the things that I noticed about Baker, as they're taking Tyrod out, Baker comes into the field, and the first thing he starts doing is he's tapping guys on their shoulder pads, tapping them on the helmet. He's getting them rallied up right from the get-go. And you can see, as a rookie, backup quarterback, he's got a connection with the players right off the gate. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that was very noticeable to me, just how personable he was with the players in his first snap.
Yeah, you either have leadership qualities or you don't.
Yeah.
And nothing against Taylor, he just probably doesn't have those qualities naturally when it comes to Mayfield. So
when Mayfield when the huddle gathered around Mayfield and they had a close up right on his face when he called his very first play, he was the most confident person in the huddle.
Oh, absolutely.
And when I saw that, I went, okay, he's ready to go.
Here we go.
Yep, here we go. There's probably no turning back now. He'll really have to fall on his face, and he did the opposite of that. So
all right, so there's Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Let's talk about the next rookie. Let's talk about Darnold in the same game, because Darnold came out game one and he feasted. He had a huge week one. Week two wasn't as successful. He looked sharp in the first half against the Browns, against a very strong Browns
very good
defense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darnold looked really, he looked poised, but in the second half, not so. What do you think about Darnold's performance so far?
I think the NFL is a league of adjustments, halftime adjustments and things like that. And teams are adjusting to Darnold already after, 3 games, 2.5, 3 games.
Yep.
And so he's got to go back and he's got to look at how to, counter that. So that's going to fall back onto the coaching staff. And it's a long season, 16 games, only 3 games in. So, the jury's obviously out on all of these guys. But it's so much fun to sort of jump to conclusions at this point, especially when someone has a good game. But who knows? Maybe Mayfield lays an egg next week. Maybe Darnold comes back and has a great game. Who knows?
Yeah, I thought that first game, it was a little overblown. I mean, he played well, but the entire team played well, and it just worked out. And the moment you get the W, everything gets inflated, right? And there was tape on Darnold, like Roger's saying, and there was no tape on Mayfield. So again, that's why I'm holding my breath a little bit, is once the tape's there for teams to actually, they were not preparing for Baker Mayfield. Right. They had no idea, nor did they even probably know what to prepare for. They weren't expecting that. Nobody was.
No.
Darnold, I think Darnold's the real deal. I think he's got an amazing mentor / coach / backup in Josh McCown on the bench, who basically just stepped aside for him and thought as well as anybody that he should start right away. Not too worried about it. Again, the Browns' defense is absolutely dominant and attacking this year so far, and it was a lot for him to handle, and they were able to prepare for him. So I'm not down on Darnold whatsoever. Roger, unlike you, I thought the Browns may have blew it when they didn't take Darnold. I was. Ray will tell you, I was preaching, please do not take a running back number 1 overall the entire time. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I thought Darnold was going to be the pick. Yeah, and again, it's still too early to say, oh, wow, Baker's clearly better. No, definitely not. Yeah, he looked good.
Do you think that? Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, do you think that if it got 14-0 halfway through the third quarter, they might have brought Mayfield in that game, or they would have rode the whole game out with Tyrod?
I firmly believe that Tyrod was not coming out of the game if it were not for injury, I think. So what I firmly believe in is these rookie quarterbacks should play behind a veteran quarterback until and get as much time to learn how to be a pro and see what the game is all about from the bench, which is there's only so much you can learn there until you're out of contention.
Yeah.
And I think that was the plan, right? So Darnold went in right away. That's fine. And we're going to get to all these guys. But the plan for Baker was he was going to sit and learn the entire season. And at some point when they were out of contention, he would get in. So I think the leash was much longer for Taylor on this, but Taylor got hurt. You always knew there was a chance that Baker was only one play away. The moment Hugh Jackson told him on Hard Knocks that he was the backup. Congrats, sir, you're the backup. Like, what a scene that was. So stupid. And here we have it, and a guy like Baker seizes the moment, and this is it. Like, he's not coming out again. So he's going to have to get hurt for Taylor to get back in.
All right. Well, just like regular national sports talk radio, Baker Mayfield has dominated our conversation at this point.
Yeah. Do you want to?
So I'm going to give you a quick
other Baker.
I'm going to give you a quick wrap here on Josh Allen. All right.
Sure.
Josh Allen, second game as a starter, rolls down to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the toughest defenses in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the Bills' Twitter account before the game, but they actually put a little map of the United States with the two team logos on it as to where they were going.
And it was wrong.
And they apparently think that Minnesota's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good, guys. Well done. Anyway, continue. Didn't want to take the wind out of your sails there.
All right. So, anyways, that being said, I mean, going to Minnesota to take on arguably the toughest defense in the NFL, and I got one word for you. Wow.
Well, on paper, you look at this, 17-point spread, and it's going to be a joke. It's going to be a blowout. You're still playing against other professional NFL football players.
Right.
They know how to play the game, and if you don't come 100% prepared, you're not going to win.
Right.
So you can't take anything for granted. And Buffalo had nothing to lose, and no pressure, and boom, 17-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It might have been more than that, but at least 17-0.
It should have been more if the Buffalo receivers, had some time to learn how to catch that fastball.
You're talking Kelvin Benjamin?
Kelvin Benjamin, yeah. That's always something that, the Browns have had guys like Brandon Weeden, Deshaun Kaiser with that cannon of an arm, and they just don't know how to take enough off of it, and it just takes a while to get used to that. So
Allen let a couple bombs go down along the sideline, and the rookie wide receiver Foster, he had a ball beautiful. It was a 58-yard pass right in his hands, and he dropped that. And I'm not overly concerned with that because he's a rookie, and every quarterback has that receiver that drops that big ball on a big play like that. That happens. But Kelvin Benjamin, this is embarrassing. This guy is on a contract year. He's a number one receiver right now for the Buffalo Bills, and gets a beautiful pass right in his hands away from the defender on the goal line, drops the ball.
Yeah.
This is the play that you're talking about. But let's talk about some of the things Allen did in this game.
Yeah.
First of all, that scramble he makes for the first touchdown of the game where he scrambles and dives at the pylon to score there.
Yep.
That was pretty impressive. That was a good 7-8 yard dive there for that pylon.
That was nice.
Right? But the one that everybody's talking about, I mean, pictures are all over the place. Hopefully there's pictures on the video right now. That one where Allen, 3rd and 9, gets out of the pocket, goes upfield, head-to-head with a linebacker, Boss, 6'5", and Allen leaps this guy for a first down. I mean, from a quarterback, I don't think that's ever been done. I think that's one of the most amazing plays you'll ever see from a quarterback. Roger, what are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was, maybe Randall Cunningham out there dodging and diving over people. And also mentioned that Buffalo won that game without Shady.
Yeah.
Right? Without, one of the top running backs in the game.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of rookie exuberance. I mean, how easily could he have got hurt on that play?
Oh, yeah.
And then where does Buffalo turn?
Yeah.
I don't want to ask.
Well, you know what? I think this kid's going to learn from that. I mean, I don't think you'll ever see a veteran make that type of play. But what I do love about this kid is he's showing you that he is a gamer. He will do anything it takes to make something happen for a first down.
All right. Here's what I have to say about Josh Allen.
Oh, boy. Andy's been ready to go on this.
And I promise you that this is going to be a compliment in the end. You may not like how I started out.
He's been vibrating, ready to go here.
Josh Allen looks more like a rookie quarterback than any of the rookie quarterbacks. When he approached, so we were playing a game, Roger, while we were watching this game, because the Browns played on Thursday, so I was keeping an eye on this game. We were playing this little game, my friend and I, guessing whether or not the Bills are going to run and pass.
Okay.
You could tell, we were right probably 95% of the time. We played it for a good solid quarter and a half. So Josh Allen approaches the line of scrimmage, takes a look at the defense, does his motions or whatnot, and then from that point on, you know exactly what's going to happen. If it's a running play, he doesn't even bother looking again. He doesn't know or care if linebackers moved or anything along those lines. Dayball gave him a running play to go to the line with, and his pre-snap routine was take a quick look around like he cares, even though he doesn't. Yeah. Maybe move his running back from his left to his right, and then snap the ball. If they're going to pass, he goes, he looks, he does his motions, does what he needs to do, and then he takes another good long look. Maybe even points out the Mike linebacker.
Yeah.
So listen, we could see it the entire time, and the Vikings could see it too. And this is where I'm going to compliment Josh Allen, it didn't even matter. He is so physically gifted, so big, strong, fast, arm. He has all of that he could overcome that. In the end, it didn't even matter, because I'm sure if I'm picking up on that, the Minnesota Vikings are picking up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The comparison for Josh Allen to me right now is extremely simple. It's Cam Newton. He's young Cam Newton right now. He's using his legs. The running game starts with Josh Allen. He's using his legs. He's so big, so strong, and so fast for that frame. Not scared of anybody out there, and it's going to take a helmet-to-helmet hit to hurt him. The arm, the inaccuracy issue that everybody was worried about in college, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
I wouldn't say he's like, nobody's called him pinpoint accurate the way that they've been clamoring about Mayfield, but at the same time, you don't look at that guy and go, that guy's inaccurate. But again, he did most of his damage with his legs. Very pretty pass for a touchdown, and again, a touchdown that should have been caught as well. He was exceptional in terms of how gifted he is physically, and the good thing about that, Ray, is this can be taught. So he can very quickly be taught by these offensive coaches to go to the line and look at the defense. Look at it again. It can change. Players can. The defense can move. They don't get false starts, right?
Right.
That part can be taught. All the stuff that everybody was worried about not being able to be taught with Josh Allen, crumbling on the big stage. Listen, I get it. He crumbled when he went and played whoever it was, the one big team, Iowa or whatever it was. He just went into Minnesota and won a game. So you can throw out that crumbling on the big stage thing. You can throw that out.
Yeah.
And the inaccuracy thing, I think you can throw that out too. So everything that I'm seeing, it can be taught.
All I can tell you is this, Sandy. The major factor from week 3 in the NFL, I think as a Bills fan and a Browns fan, we can say we have a quarterback.
We can, but again, I really want to temper that and stay cautiously optimistic for both of us. But as of now, going into week 4, we have our quarterback.
We've got our quarterback.
We've got our quarterback.
All right, now we're running out of time, but I did want to have a fun ranking of the quarterbacks.
Okay.
Of the rookie quarterbacks?
Of the rookie quarterbacks.
Well, can I just say real fast before we go, because we were going to circle back, I think Rosen is the one mistake here. I don't think they should be starting Rosen. Josh Allen's getting in there because the guy playing ahead of him was a second-year player, later round pick, who has done nothing in the regular season except set record levels of suck.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get the decision there. Baker Mayfield's in there because of an injury. Sam Darnold, they elected to start him right from the beginning because he was the best option. Rosen's getting in there because of a late game decision. They have a proven really good quarterback in front of him, so please take a step back and look at the quarterback and the rest of the team and realize it's not just him. They put the rookie in there. He throws a pick.
It wasn't a good pick.
That was the opportunity to just come out and say, hey, we just wanted to give Sam a breather here, but they're going with him. This is the one that I think's a mistake. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, when we look at ranking QBs right now, Roger, I know Andy's going Mayfield number 1.
I don't know. After that last, I think he likes Josh Allen.
I'm going Allen number 1. From the, to the guest of the show, how would you rank these quarterbacks right now? Top three. How would you rank
I'm going to
them?
say based on the 3 weeks overall, just to be a little contrarian, I'm going to go Darnold 1.
Okay.
Baker 2.
Okay.
Then Allen 3.
Okay.
And I agree with Andy's take on Rosen. He did not look good.
Okay.
Sam Bradford, give him a chance.
Yeah.
He's got some experience. I know he's made of glass.
Yeah.
And he's going to go down at some point. Rosen's going to get in. That's almost a guarantee. But give yourself a chance at a winning season with Bradford first before you pull the plug. And, he didn't look good on that interception late in the game.
I'm going to take that because I asked you for them. My only wrench in that is Baker won at home on Thursday night against the Jets. Mm-hmm. Allen won on the road against the Vikings.
Well, you want to hear my rankings? I think you'll like them. So I'm going Darnold 1.
Yeah.
He started from day 1, and he's showing extreme promise, and the teams have had a chance to plan for him even more. I'm actually going Josh Allen 2 right now.
Ooh.
Josh Allen has 2 starts under his belt, and again, he went on the road. He got better from the first game to the second game, and he went on the road, and he beat a legit Super Bowl contender and a team that I still think is going to run away with the NFC North. I really do. don't think they were even thinking about the Bills. They thought, we will just roll over the Bills as we get ready for the Rams on Thursday night. So I'm going Josh Allen because the body of work for Baker is incomplete. He hasn't started a game.
Right.
He only played we have a half of football with Baker. So it's not fair to put him ahead of those other two guys. So I'll go Allen 2.
I'm going to take it.
I'm going Baker 3, but if Baker plays 75% as well as he did in his debut for a full game against Oakland, like straight to the top.
All right, there you go.
Straight to the top. And then, of course, Josh Rosen.
If Allen knocks off Green Bay in Green Bay this week, then he's going right to number one for me.
Has to.
Yeah.
Number one.
I can promise you I won't be calling that.
All right. Let's go to next topic. All right. Protecting the QB protection rule.
Yeah.
So let me read this to you guys, okay? Protection of the quarterbacks. The committee has reviewed hits on the quarterbacks inside and outside of the pocket. In some instances, the defender used all or part of his body weight to land on the quarterback immediately after the ball was thrown. These actions put the quarterback at risk for injury. The officiating department will emphasize that the defender is responsible for avoiding landing on the quarterback when taking him to the ground. This is what drove the new rule that is in place right now. And I want to ask you guys, has the NFL gone too far with this rule?
Yeah. Yeah, they have. That's the only part. I'm okay with all of it. I'm okay with most of the quarterback protection rules, and there's a lot of them. This particular one, I think, is going too far. Every time they move, like for Clay Matthews' 2 hits, they go to their designated referee expert to get his take on it. And almost every time they say, yeah, I probably wouldn't have called this one because I don't see him lifting the quarterback up off the ground and then driving him to the ground. I think that definitely is the penalty, but simply running full speed at a quarterback and hitting him, your body has to do something. And if you land on that quarterback with your body weight, I think that's going too far. Yeah. Lift them up, drive them down, purposely plant him into the ground as hard as you can, no problem. But the Clay Matthews hits, those were, I guess right to the letter of the rule, they were penalties. So with that said, I think that rule is stupid and soft.
I think it's important they protect the quarterbacks because when I tune in on Sunday, I want to watch Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
I want to watch Kirk Cousins. I don't want to watch the backups.
Right.
So protect them, but again, they've gone a little bit too far. So they'll adjust. I'm pretty sure they're going to adjust. And you might see, maybe that last one on Matthews this week. Next week that might not be a penalty, but but guys in the past would drive all their body weight into the ground, and that's when you separate shoulders, concussions, etc. And we don't want that in the NFL. My
biggest question is if we go back 20, 25 years in football. Back before the helmet shots, back before spearing and a lot of different things like that. Take a linebacker like Mike Singletary. That's back when they were actually tackling somebody and taking them down. If you went back and watched film from 25 years ago, would we not see Singletary on top of a quarterback, on top of Bradshaw taking him down?
Of course, but it's not. You can't even compare that. They were trying to kill each other, and it was okay back then, right?
Right.
This has gone extreme. I think it's mostly for the best, though, right? When you look back at the way the game was played back then, yeah, that was too much. The quarterbacks are the money makers. The quarterbacks are what everybody wants to see. So I agree, you need to protect the quarterbacks. But I also think you can go too far in that. At the end of the day, we need people who want to play defense. And I love watching good defensive players. And if you get to the point where a defensive player can't even play, there's no way to even write in incentive bonuses in their contracts because they're not actually allowed to do anything except tackle. Even for the young kids, if you want to get excited about playing defense, you need to be able to do something out there. So I just think you can go too far. And I think this, I don't think it's using your body weight. Not being able to avoid putting any body weight on a quarterback after you've sacked him when you're a professional athlete moving at that speed, that, in my opinion, is too far. And I'd like for them to ease up on that.
All right. So if the NFL reaches out to First Down Sports Podcast and asks us to sit around the table and help tweak the current rule that's in there, do you have any suggestions on what we could use to tweak that rule?
I would just say, again, lifting the player up and planting him down should, definitely be the wording around putting your weight on the quarterback. And otherwise, the existing stuff that you just read for us, I'd say that should only apply to the Steelers, Ravens, and Bengals. That's what I would say, Roger.
And maybe driving a guy into the ground is an ejection now instead of unsportsmanlike in 15 yards. So I find that it's just another rule that's leading to more and more offense. As you were saying, Andy, defense is becoming tough. I think points are up 10 points a game already this year. Yeah. And who wants to play defense when the offense gets all the glory? And I mean, as true football fans, we enjoy a tight defensive battle. But
absolutely,
man, how many 43 to 37 games are there going to be this year with all these rules?
Yeah. There's and I just saw today on Twitter, there's a defensive player that also has torn his ACL. And I read a comment from the coach saying that he tore his ACL holding off on hitting a player because they're so confused by this rule now.
I hadn't seen that, but I mean, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it just came out this afternoon on Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one yet either, but that's very interesting.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's our 3 topics.
Awesome.
Roger, I once again thank you for coming by our table here. We want to
30 minutes and not one mention of my favorite team.
All right, go ahead.
America's team.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Unfortunately, I've been cheering them for a number of years.
Oh boy.
But ever since Jerry Jones came along, we got a few Super Bowls right off the bat, but it's been a nightmare ever since. So
yeah, this has been a very disappointing year. I thought they weren't going to be great, but
defense is better than expected. Offense. It's all.
What's going on with Elliott? What's going on with Elliott down there?
I don't know. I mean,
you guys still have one of the best offensive lines in football.
When they're all there,
right.
we're missing 2 guys right now. So, right. I mean, best offensive line of football when they're there. So, not as much room to run for Zeke, but I mean, the whole team revolves around that offensive line. So, not a great start, but not giving up yet. And I'm never switching my favorite team. That's not allowed.
No.
Right.
Dak Prescott needs to get it going in the air. A little bit. His receivers need to help him out with that.
Yeah.
I realize he lost Dez, his big target, but Dez hasn't been Dez for years. No. But he's got to get that magic season with when Zeke was a rookie was because Dak, scared teams with the passing game so much, and that amazing offensive line was able to dominate the running game. Yeah. They're not scared anymore.
No, that's true. And they just key on Elliott and they make Dak beat them, and he can't.
All right.
Before we get out of here, I just have to talk about our 3-way pool with Jamie Drysdale, LeBron.
Yep.
Okay. In week 1, you guys started off the year with a 4-1 record.
Yeah.
And I had 2-3. Jamie, LeBron, goes 1-4 in week 1.
He was pretty upset about that.
And
yeah,
we really
got it. We really got him going.
And there was a mention of this is no money. This is just bragging rights.
Yeah.
But money was brought up in week 1, and he was very upset you guys wouldn't start from fresh. He wasn't happy about a 3-game lead. Now in week 2, there was some movement there. In week 3,
can we skip week 3? We don't want to talk about week 3.
I'd love to skip it,
okay.
But Roger, I have to tell you, we had big mistakes. We had what you call a Drysdale week. I had a Drysdale week. I went 1 for 4.
Not LeBron-like.
Not LeBron-like.
No.
Yeah.
And speaking of LeBron, he turns it around, goes 4 for 1. So now the
Impressive.
totals after 3 weeks, Andy and Jamie are tied for 7 and 8. And Roger 6 and 9, and I'm 5 and 10.
5 and 10, yeah. It was a tough week, but at the end of the day, we are starting even now, I guess. I mean, Jamie and I have had the exact same records for 3 weeks. We've just alternated weeks.
Yeah.
And man, picking against the spreads is always tough, but this year is weird, man.
It's been a weird.
It's
year.
weird, and your Buffalo Bills not that too many people were going to pick the Vikings to cover that spread if they had to pick 5 games. I know you did.
Trying to be smart.
I was a little too scared to even try that, but yeah, we didn't see that coming at all. And the Jags game and all, the whole week was weird.
All right, one final thought before we get out of here. Green Bay, 10.5-point favorites over the Bills right now. Are we taking Packers or Bills in this one?
I don't know if I'm going to pick that game in this, but right now, off the top of my head, I'm going Bills cover. Andy? 10.5.
Oh man, it would be tough, right? Again, I wouldn't pick it as one of my 5, but in my leagues where I pick all of the games, right now I would still be tempted for the Packers to cover the spread.
All right, I'm taking Bills all the way because Tre'Davious White has proven he is a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
Shut down Diggs, shut down Keenan Allen. This guy can play, and I think that's going to make it tough on Rodgers.
Didn't you guys have another shutdown corner too, but he retired at half?
He was not a shutdown corner.
Okay.
Davis.
Well, he shut it down at half.
He did shut it down at half. And the Bills' defense has been way better since he did. So thank you, Vontae Davis.
Yeah, all right.
That's it for this week, guys. Tune in next week. We'll be back with 3 more topics, and we'll see you then.
Later.